Hey everyone, I've been planning to make this video for quite some time now. Well, I thought I'll talk about my career in the contact center industry. Why did I even decide to join the contact center industry? I remember, going up to my dad and telling him saying that I wanted to buy a shoe that costed 2,500. And that's when dad said, "Why don't you go ahead and earn and then buy the shoe for yourself?" I said, "Great." And that's how my journey in the contact center industry started. So I joined an organization and then I started taking calls, right? It was for a US client. I loved taking calls, I loved interacting with customers. In fact, it was a 5 day working. On the sixth day, I used to go ahead and listen to how other people take calls, try to pick up different things from them, and see how I can better myself. And after taking calls for 6 months, one fine day, my team leader, Habib, he walked up to me and he said, "Why don't you be a flow worker?" I said, "What does a flow worker do?" He said, "As a flow worker, you would take escalation calls, you would handle calls which an agent is unable to handle." I said, "Great, let me go and do that." And I did that for a couple of months, and then an internal job posting was launched for a team coach. Now, what does a team coach do? A team coach is an individual who's next to a team leader, who's not exactly a team leader, but plays the role of a team leader when the team leader is not available, either is on a week off or he's on a leave. I enjoyed my role as a team coach because that is when I started sharing feedback with different agents. I started understanding how I need to go ahead and let people know as to how they can take better calls and give better customer experience. After doing that for some time, then again I got promoted as a subject matter expert. Now, as a subject matter expert, my role there was to go ahead and train all the new agents who would go ahead and join the organization. And there is when I started interacting with my next manager. His name was Shoibal Bose. Now, with Shoibal, what I learned is that you have to literally walk the talk. Because what he would do is that he would just walk in to any of the sessions that I was taking and he would just randomly play my call and tell the 30 odd people sitting there saying that if Giant cannot take a good call, he's not fit to train you guys. So every time I used to take calls, talk to customers, I had to be at my behavioral best. That is one thing I learned from Shoibaz, right? Walk the talk. After being an SME, then is when I got an opportunity where I got a chance to transition an entire project from North Carolina into India. This is when I got to travel to a different country, right? And I was there stationed for good 3 months, where I got trained by the clients. And then post the training, I had to get certified as a trainer, come back to India, and the best part was that I got to train the first batch in India with 35 to 40 people, which comprised of team leaders, supervisors, managers. And this particular training batch gave me a lot of confidence that, you know what, I can actually stand up and train people. And then I continued training. I was a trainer for a good a year and a half. And post being a trainer, that's when I got a chance to also play the role of a quality analyst. As a quality analyst, I was, going ahead and listening to calls, giving feedback to agents. I used to love my job. And after some time, our opportunity again arose where my next manager, Rajesh, walked up to me and said, "You know what? You have done training quality for some time. Why don't you move into operations?" I said, "Great, that sounds like fun." And that's when I, joined as a team lead for operations. Trust me, guys, the first 3 months was a disaster. I remember after the first 3 months, I walked up to Rajesh and I told him, "I'm not cut out for this. I cannot do this." I was all set to go back to training and quality. All that Rajesh told me was that he said, "You don't have a choice but to succeed." Rajesh was the person who taught me how to draft emails, how to handle a team, how to be good at people management. Today, if I'm good in operations, I know I owe it to Rajesh and absolutely nobody else. Then I was so successful in being a team leader that the next 6 months, consistently, I was awarded the top team leader. I was like, wow, this sounds great. And again, after a year or so, me being me, I kind of got bored. I said, you know what, I want to do something different. And that's when, again, Shoibal got back and said, hey, you know what, we have an assistant manager opening in training and quality. Would you be interested to take up that role? I said, great. And that's when I became an assistant manager for training and quality. I was so happy. I was like, wow, I'm an assistant manager now, right? A guy who joined taking calls is now an assistant manager. And then I had a team of quality analysts, trainers who would kind of report, work with me. I would not say report to me. And we had a great chemistry. And then I used to love managing that team. After a point of time, I got promoted as a manager, as training and quality. Now, as a manager, training and quality, I not only had my team that I had to take care of, but I also started handling other teams across other cities as well. Not only, the city that I was based out of is Bangalore. After a point of time, I got promoted as a senior manager, training and quality. And that is when I met the next manager, Amitabh. Now, with Amitabh, what I learned is that you have to call a spade as a spade. A lot of times, your team members would not like it, right? When you actually go back and tell them that, hey, you know what, you're not doing something right. They always expect you to sugarcoat things. But Amitabh was not that way. He would tell you something is wrong. He would be on your face. He would tell you, you know what, this is not the way to do it. Today, when I look back, that kind of made me strong. That kind of told me saying that when somebody is sharing a feedback with you, you got to take it positively and you got to work on your feedback if you have to better yourself. So thank you, Amitabh, for that. And as a senior manager, training and quality, I not only handled the entire Bangalore site, but I also got to handle Ahmedabad and the Pune site. And that is when I kind of understood how I can work remotely and handle other teams as well. You need not have to be, always interacting with your team face to face. This went on for quite some time. I'd spent good 10 years in the organization by then. And then I got married as well by the time, right? And then one fine day I woke up and I told my wife, Shweta, saying that, you know what, Shweta, I'm going to quit today. And Shweta goes, what? Why would you quit when everything is working well for you? I said, I don't know. The time has come for me to move on from this organization. I walked up to Amitabh. I told him, saying, Amitabh, you know what? I'm done. I guess the time is for me to move on. We did have a discussion, and then he understood, saying that I wanted to move on. I walked up to my HR head. My HR head was surprised. I remember she telling me, saying that, why would you quit without a job in hand? I said, there comes a point of time in your career when you feel that you're no longer adding any value to the organization, and it's just good for you and the organization that you part ways. And I guess that's what it was. And before that, in fact, I had spoken to my dad as well. And in fact, dad freaked out. Dad said, nobody quits without a job in hand. But I said, Dad, you know what? This is what it is. I guess it's time for me to move on. Dad said, great. The HR head said, great. And then I just quit. And then I don't have a job in hand, right? So the next couple of days was all fun. I got my gratuity money. So I went, I bought a PlayStation. I started playing games. I was all this happy-go-lucky child. Shweta was working, obviously, so I had nothing to worry about from a finances standpoint. But after a week or 10 days, I said, hey, you know what? I need to work, right? I need to find a job for myself. That's when I started reaching out to all my contacts, sending out my resumes. And to my surprise, nobody even gave me a job. I was like, okay, what do I do now? I walked up to my dad and I said, Dad, you know what? Let's go on a road trip. Dad says, on a road trip when you don't have a job? I said, why not? We have a car, the four of us, let's just go. He says, great, where do you want to go? I said, let's go to Hyderabad. He's like, why to Hyderabad? Because Hyderabad was the place where I was born, in fact. I was there for like just a couple of years. And my grandfather used to live there. So I said, let's go visit my grandfather. Great, right? And when we were planning this road trip is when one of my, contact, Melina, in fact, referred me to my existing organization, Zoomcar, right? She said, Zoomcar is looking for a training and quality lead. Would you want to join them? I had not even heard about Zoomcar at that point of time, but I said, great, let me give it a shot. There's no harm attending an interview. I attend the interview, then I get to meet Arnav, whom I'm going to talk about later. I get to, interact with Greg, who's the current CEO of Zoomcar. I'm going to talk about him later as well. I get the job offer. I'm all happy. The road trip is planned. Everything is hunky dory, right? Imagine you get a job offer, your road trip is planned, life seems to be so perfect. And then mom says, you know what, we're going to Hyderabad, let's stop by at Mantralayam. I said, great, let's stop at Mantralayam. I still remember we finished the darshan at Mantralayam, and then, obviously you cannot take your phone inside the darshan. We got out and I was driving, and that's when I got a call from a HR from a different organization. I was attending my next interview. And during the course of this interview is when my parents, my wife actually got to know what I have done for the 10 years in the particular organization that I worked for. And dad was like, oh, really? You did all this in the last 10 years? I was like, yeah, obviously. But then, yeah, I did get that offer as well. And then we met my grandfather. I remember that evening I got a call from this third organization, which again I had a job offer in hand. So while driving back from Hyderabad, I had three job offers in hand at a point of time when I did not have a job, and now I have three opportunities that I could pick and choose. But then the way Greg spoke to me, the way he interacted with me during my interview, I had made up my mind that my next company has to be Zoomcar. One, the way Greg interacted with me, and two, I wanted to explore what a startup culture is all about. Because Zoomcar at that point of time, nobody even knew what Zoomcar is all about. And that's how my journey at Zoomcar started, where I joined the organization as a lead, training and quality. And then is when I met Arnav. Now, Arnav is a kind of a manager. He's a totally a people's manager, right? He would never come back and tell you saying that, great job done, you're a great guy to work with. He works in a funda saying that if you're great, you're part of my team. It's as simple as that. And Arnav, the way what happened with Arnav is that every time he has to share a feedback, he's just in a cabin, all right. He would say Darwaza band kar. That means that I have goofed up something big time. He would take off on me, he would rip me apart. After half an hour, he would come to my desk and say, Chal, let's go have lunch. I'm like, dude, you just, took off on me. Why would I want to have lunch with you? And on the lunch table, he would behave as though nothing happened. That's what I learned from Arnav, right? When something goes wrong with your team, share a feedback with them, let them know that they've done something wrong, but don't carry it forward. Leave it at that. That's when the team realizes saying that, what you've done is wrong, and they learn from their mistakes. And then I started, after becoming a lead training and quality manager. And then, one fine day, the operations manager at Zoomcar decided to go on a paternity leave. And that is when we were driving to work. And then I remember Arnav casually saying, do you want to move into operations? I was like, I've been a team leader, but it's been quite some time. Arnav was like, give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. I'm so thankful to him because today I love my job at Zoomcar. I so look forward to my work every day because I'm part of the operations team. Because in operations, every day is a new day, every day is a new challenge, right? And that's how I got to become a senior manager in the operations team, where I got to lead a team of my own. And in operations, you're as good as the previous day. You can never go back and say, yesterday my numbers were great, so today I can relax. Because today is a new day. Today you got to be your best again. People always remember you with what you have done today. Nobody remembers what you did yesterday. And that's how it is in operations. And that's what I love about operations, in fact. And during my course of, being associated with Zoomcar, I happened to meet Greg. In fact, the first day at Zoomcar, I happened to interact with Greg. I was filling my joining formalities, and Greg walks in and he says, welcome on board, Giant. It was like a It was so surreal for me because a CEO of the organization walking up and welcoming me on board meant a lot. I did not even know how to react. I remember I just smiled at him and I said, thank you. And then during my, tenure in Zoom car, I've had various opportunities to work with Greg, interact with him. What I've learned from Greg is that you got to be positive at any given point of time. In fact, the last 1 year, the pandemic has been terrible for many organizations, and Zoom car is no different. But at no point of time, Greg made it feel like, things are not going well or we are in a lot of trouble. He was so positive that all the employees kept feeling that this will also pass, right? It's not that we are going to be in this situation forever, and we are going to come out stronger from this. And that is when we started innovating new things, building new products in the ecosystem. And his constant communication to all the employees just told us that you're in the right organization at the right time, right? And then now with my current manager, Sudhir Reddy, right? With Sudhi, I've learned one thing, three C's: be calm, be composed, and be cool. Because Sudhi is a kind of a manager who believes that if something needs to be done, it can be done in a cool and composed manner. You need not always be aggressive, you need not always keep fighting on an email. In fact, there are a lot of times when I've learned from Sudhi saying that you need not do a reply all on emails. You can just do a reply, or you can just pick up the phone and talk to people, and the work still gets done, right? In fact, with Sudhi, one thing I've learned is that even if the house is on fire, you need not panic, right? You can think of solutions as to how to douse the fire. Well, that has pretty much been, my experiences working in the contact center industry. I've had the great opportunity to transition different projects. I've been to different countries during my whole tenure. In fact, I've been to Manila, I've been to Denver, I've been to North Carolina. I've interacted with, people from different countries, trained them. It's just helped me become a better individual, better professional. Today, I've got promoted as an associate director. Now, when I look back on my entire career, from the time I started off as an agent and to being an associate director, mom always tells me one thing: what is destined is that is it for you, right? Nobody can take it away from you. People say I've been lucky. I would not say I've been lucky. I would say I've been at the right place at the right time. And I always believed saying that what is destined for me is what is for me, and nobody can take it away from me, right? In fact, I keep telling myself that tomorrow I may not be an associate director, I may not be earning the same salary I am today, but I have the belief in me saying that if I could do it in the past, I can do it all over once again. And that's what it takes, right? You just got to believe in yourself, be positive, spread positivity, and definitely a huge shout out to all my team members who have supported me throughout, and definitely my parents, my wife Shweta, my little one Isha. In fact, she's just 2.5 years old. I've been working from home, right, the last 1.5 year, and last 1 year rather. Even to this day, when I tell her saying that I'm getting onto a call, she doesn't talk. And once the call is done, I say call apoi. That means the call is done. That is when she starts talking again. So when you have people around you who support you, who believe in you, things just get even more easy, right? With that, I'm signing off. I hope I did not, bore you guys. I just thought I'll put across my thoughts of how my career at the contact industry has been. Thank you once again.
Thank you for watching justSHWEthingz. If you like the video, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Keep supporting me and stay healthy, stay happy. I'm Shweta. You're watching justSHWEthingz. Bye bye.